の校舎は向こうよりさらにボロいな。
なんだか頭が痛い。
確かに空気が重いっていうか、長いしたくない感じだよね。
I wonder why your head hurts. It's probably not like there's a head stuffed in that cupboard.
こんなところにナナちゃんいるのか
な。探すしかないじゃん。ナーナだって私らのこと探してるはずだし、すぐ会えるよ。
すぐってどれくらい？
また始まった。もうそのパターンよしなよ。
She's not.
泣かない。私だって怖いんだから。
I told myself that I was going to find Nana in this second building, come hell or high water. Failure was not an option.
Oh boy.
Me. Attempt to head to the staff room.
To the staff room?
To the
Yeah.
staff room.
Staff room.
You don't get to be there though. You're not staff.
You are a middle school child.
It's fine.
There's a large hole in the floor here blocking the way through this hall.
Okay,
God
now that
damn
you
it.
did that, because that was actually really important to do. Ascend the first floor, second floor staircase, and then head to the. Go up the staircase.
Okay. Going up the staircase.
I'm relearning how to read right now. Just give me a second.
I believe in you. Heart of the cards. You got this.
Okay. Hallway 1 west, 2 north of the art room.
Okay. What the fuck?
So the art room.
Okay, sorry.
1 west, 2 north.
1 west, 2 north. 2 north. This one.
Yes.
Okay. Going up.
Slowly.
Slowly but surely making our way downtown.
Roll it up. Ah.
The dull, gloomy corridor suddenly lit up brightly for just a moment, and in that moment something became visible. I fucking hate that. Take it.
Yes, take it.
Take the shiny. There, glinting in the dim light, sat what appeared to be a component from some sort of electronic device. In contrast with everything else in the school, it seemed like a fairly recent item, a decade old at most, but likely much newer. It's a battery? Yeah.
When the chip had outbrains you.
It's probably from the camera that dude was having. Or, I don't know, that's the only tech I can think of. Might as well take it with us, I figured. Though, if I could give it to Chihaya for safekeeping, it would no doubt wind up in the ground again, somewhere. So I decided to pocket the thing. Alright.
Okay, save your game. Okay, we're gonna go back to that hole in the floor.
Which is...
This floor. Yes.
First floor, okay. Moseying down.
I like Nari's little character on the map. It's cute.
That is cute.
Yeah.
And go back to the hole in the floor.
Which is
Oh,
where?
it's that one.
There it is. Found it.
It's going to be something maybe lying there.
Oh, hi. On the other side of the hole, there was now a man collapsed on the ground. I couldn't see any obvious wounds on him, but he wasn't moving at all. It was hard to ascertain details in this dim light, but he seemed a bit too big to be a middle schooler or high schooler. He wasn't wearing a uniform.
学生じゃないみたいだけど。
死んでるの？
わかんない。大丈夫ですか？怪我してたりとか。
Still no
なん
response.
か物投げてみようかな。いや、まずいか。
なりちゃん、これそこに落ちてた。
カメラ？
Chuck a rock at him.
あの人の。
Oh! It was the dude!
Yeah.
It was a fairly expensive looking DV camcorder, and a well-worn one at that, with dings and chips all over it. Nonetheless, it looked like it probably still worked. Oh, hi.
今度は何よ。
Oh,
Hey,
back to this guy.
That is not fair.
マユ、さっき俺は確かにお前の声を聞いた。会いたいって言ってたよな。無事なのか？怪我はしてないか？
So weird.
くそ。田口さんは何やってんだ？
My dude is dead,
He's
man.
very dead.
He's dead. He's not
そんなことしてる
coming.
暇があったら、俺はマユを。
Oh, hi.
くそ。くそ。なんでこんなことに。マユ、他の奴らはどうでもいいから、せめてお前だけは。何見てんだ！
In my agitated state, I kicked a pair of hallway slippers that were sitting on the ground nearby, and they flew right into the dead girl's face.
死人の分際でそんなとこに座ってんじゃない。目障りだよ。
This dude's just an asshole. Anybody but
As he aggressively gets like more aggressive, he sounds like Bakugo.
なんだ。
Yeah, that's what I was just
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay.
Can you
Listen,
search up?
don't compare him to my man. Okay.
I grabbed her
I
jaw
mean, to be
and
fair,
began
Bakugo's
shaking
also
it
an ass.
around, and was a
Okay,
bit startled
you
by
can
the
try
sensation.
better.
It felt just like I was touching
That is
living
true.
flesh, except this person was very, very cold. Cold as a statue covered in skin and muscle, but a statue
何
nonetheless.
をやってるんだ俺は。頭がどうかしてしまったのか。
I mean, you were taking pictures earlier.
八つ当たりするなんて。
You continue to do so.
ああ、すまない。よく見たら目を切られてるじゃないか。これじゃ何も見えやしないな。
This last that one guy's from fucking My Hero. I forget his name. The guy with the hand on his face.
Oh, Shigaraki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
数日前なら。
Yeah, his name kind of looks like that.
俺の方の一発も引っ叩けただろうにね。残念だな。ああ、海田アリサさん。
Pity.
冷静になれ。こんなことしてもマユは見つからないぞ。第一、この子は何の罪もない被害者じゃないか。
My man's be like going through it right now. He's having like a mental
He doesn't have a lot of
break.
humanity to begin with.
なかなかの美人
As case in point, right here, he doesn't. It's not.
どんどん腐って肉がぐち
Oh
ぐちのスープ
God.
で
Ooh.
皮膚がたるんで垂れ下がり目玉は生卵みたいにこぼれ落ちる
Eggs.
トイレの便器よりもひどい悪臭を振り
Oh
まきながら
God.
腹渡も
It's got worse.
顔も口の中も
Morishige, you need to calm down a little bit, buddy.
そうなる前にそうだな
Yeah. There's
綺
his,
麗な
there's
君の
his,
姿を残しておいてやる
There it is.
there it is.
I
Back to
flipped my
photos.
cell phone back on and switched it to camera mode, centering the lens on the lovely Miss Kaeda. Her slashed and broken gaze was focused ahead of her at a downward-facing angle, yet in contrast to these injuries, she wore a peaceful expression on her face. Almost as if she were posing for me, just waiting for me to hit that shutter button.
Then she jumps out at him.
表情するじゃないか
Oh,
いい絵になりそうだ
I hate him.
いいねアンダル
Oh,
シア
stop
の犬
talking
っ
in
て映画を
French.
知ってるかい
Piss me off.
今の君にぴったりだよもう一枚いいかな
bro.
ひょっとしたら君は生きてた時よりも今の方が魅力的かもしれない。だってほら、この硬直した方のラインなんか、失礼かもしれないけどエロテ
This
ィ
is
ックだ。
weird.
この手首の傷も。
I tried poking her wound with my finger
This
and heard a
reminds me of when
moist,
he
squishy sound as my fingertip
Oh,
was swallowed up. She's gone cold, but I guess there was still some blood left in her. Either that or decomposition was already well underway. I pushed farther in, digging my finger through the gaps between her muscles until I struck something smooth and hard.
これだね。このぬめり気と冷たさ、奥に秘めた芯
Bro,
と
this
強
is
さ、
weird.
官能的だよ。
So much sensual.
He's weird.
Oh! As I drew my face into her forehead, a few particles of perfume scented the foul odor of sweat and sebum that had heretofore been assaulting my nostrils.
ここに閉じ
How
込められて
delightful.
ろくに髪も洗えなかったろうに、
You fucking weirdo.
身だしなみを忘れないなんて。
I hate him.
I don't like it.
でも君にはこの刺繍
Ugh,
と
this
血の香
sound.
りの方が似合っている。
Oh,
絶対
oh.
So much better.
My man's just getting off to this.
俺は何をやってたんだ。
He's back.
死体の写真なんて。
He's like, what am I doing?
At my normal senses.
こういう状況ではストレスを溜め込むのは禁物だ。こうして発散させることは
Well,
悪いこと
at
じゃ
least we
ない。
know he's a murderer. Going to be.
たまたまだ。たまたまここに死体
Kinda
があ
weird
ったから。
tramp.
そういえば田口さんが警察に提出するためにここの死体を取ってるとか言ってたな。
That's not what you're doing,
時間
sir.
は過ぎてるだろうし、そろそろ
I
Not the
think
smart
I know where
idea.
this is going, and I don't like it.
もしかしたら田口さんが眉を見つけて同行してるかもしれないし、ここにいても始まらない。
Sweetheart. Amidst the darkness of the corridors, I spotted human figures, living ones this time. Two of them, both female and both much younger than I. I approached them without making a noise or saying a single word to announce myself.
今度は何よ。
Junior high, I guess. Maybe 12 or 13 years old. One was clearly much more fear-prone than the other, as she wrapped herself around her companion's arm and was actively trying to hide behind her. She was looking in my general direction, but with the lighting as dim as it was, I had no idea whether or not she could see me. And while finding survivors in this land of the dead was a rare occurrence indeed, my focus was squarely on the man sprawled out farther down the hall. He was unconscious, probably worse, and an uncrossable gap separated us, but I definitely recognized him. It was Takeuchi.
あの
田口さん、死んでるのか？
Was I concerned about him? Did I feel for
He
him?
did his thing.
Honestly, no. I felt nothing whatsoever at the moment. I was simply asking because I was curious. I'm normally calm and stoic, sure, but this seemed cold, even by my standards. Did I really not care one way or another if he was dead?
その人と知り合いなんですか？
いや、別に。
でも今名前言ってましたよね。これその人のだと思うんで、どうぞ。
The girl handed me a beat-up DV camera. No doubt about it, this was the same one Takeuchi had been looking into when I met him earlier. I took it without a word and immediately tried to turn it on, but to no avail, it
バッ
had
テ
no
リーが切れ
power.
てる。使えそうにないな。
バッテリーも落ちてたから
Oh, I
やっておきま
wonder
した
why.
使ってください。
ああ、
何この人。あーって不愛想すぎ。別にお礼言ってほしいわけじゃないけどさ。
Hey, stupid 12-year-old. Talking to like an 11th grader.
I placed the battery pack into the DV camera and immediately saw the red power light pop up. Still fully functional by all
これで保
appearances.
存してある映像を。君たちはここで何してるんだい？
We were going on a class field trip, you know.
友達を探しているんです。小笠原奈々と
Both of them are dead.
武蔵川女子中学の同級生なんですけど、
Yeah,
私
I think you
は
found
大和
that
屋
one.
この子は山瀬千早って言います。
そうか。中学生か。そっちの小さな君、どことなく持田の妹と似てるよ。
何の話ですか？あなたは高校生ですよね。
俺も人を探してるんだ。
He's a creeper. Stop talking to him.
Yeah, he's weird.
君たち見なかったかい？
それよりまず名乗るのが礼儀だと思うんですけど。
ああ、すまない。俺は森重作太郎。如月学園の2年だ。それでさっきの話だけど、眉を知らないかい？この写真の子なんだけど。
I flipped open Mayu's student ID to its photo page, almost as if I were a sheriff flashing my badge. But the responses from these two were not encouraging. They exchanged a quick glance with one another, then shook their heads.
私たちは会ってないみたいです。
そうか。いいんだ。このカメラの中に手がかりがあるかもしれないし。
Dude, his tone of voice, you can tell. It's just, ooh!
Hate it.
I rewound the tape a bit and put the camera in playback mode. Immediately, horrifying imagery began displaying on the device's tiny LCD screen. Audio was irrelevant. It seemed like the only sounds on the tape were those of Takauchi's ragged breathing and footsteps and his occasional self-mutterings. 90% of the video's footage then consisted of dead bodies, while the remaining 10% was mostly just the camera auto-focusing in the dim light. Each body was shot from a variety of angles, so their causes of death could be easily determined. Guess he really was planning to on showing this to the police.
何これ？死体ばっか。やだ、私見たくない。
I'm pretty sure this is the man.
The two noisy girls were peeking in on the video's contents over my shoulder, and neither seemed certain quite how to react.
へえ。ずいぶん丁寧に撮ってあるんだな。
Morishige, please, dude, you gotta control yourself in front of two junior high girls, please.
俺がまだ見てない死体がいくつも。いくつも。
Ah,
Bro, you're weird.
これ
Please
なんて
stop.
まるで
Please.
シーレ
Cease
の絵
this.
みたい
I
だ。
don't.
だけど惜しいな。田口さんの視点は作業的だ。映像を見る他人の目を意識しているし、
Bro.
死者に。ん？どうしたんだい？
なんで笑ってるんです？
笑ってる？俺が？
笑ってますよ。嬉しそうに。
それは
I fucking knew that.
変
Bro.
だな。
what people
Listen.
do when they're
When they're insane, when they've gone batshit insane.
psychopath.
私たち、行きます。
行く？どこへ？
友達探してる途中なんで。
何をそんなに慌ててるんだい？協力できることがあるかもしれないよ。
いいです。私たちだけで頑張りますから。さよなら。
何を勘違いしたんだか。
I would too.
I mean, they'd be right.
I
I
mean,
would too.
yeah.
まあいい。誤解を解くのも面倒だ。それになかなか面白い反応だったしな。カメラは置いておこう。これは田口さんの目だ。他人の視線で見てもいまいち感情に訴えてこない。俺は俺自身の目で見てもっと触れたい。俺は俺だけのコレクションが欲しい。いや、死者を自分のものにしたいのか。
Hey, how's that? Yeah, okay, this is BS, by the way.
No.
待て、何を考えている。俺はマイを探してるんだぞ。撮影はただのストレス発散だ。マイを探す前に俺が自暴自棄になっては話にならないから、その防衛策だ。
Sorry.
そう、マイを探すための手段でしかない。
Spit went down the wrong pipe.
目的と
Jesus.
手段を履
I
き違
hate
え
when
ちゃ
that
ダメだ。
happens.
Like, I took a breath and it was like.
だがもっと見たい。
Okay. Where are we going?
Examine the body line. Examine the body line across the hole.
Takeuchi is completely motionless. It's impossible to tell from here if he's dead, though, or simply unconscious. Oh,
ジジ、また
the
か。
pots and pans!
How scary.
After bracing myself for an indeterminate amount of time, the earthquake finally subsided. There's a candle shimmering here along with a note. Whatever you do, don't look behind you. Oh, fuck that.
Don't do it.
振
Don't.
り返ったらどうなるってい
Don't
うんだ。
look.
Okay,
Don't.
I'm not gonna look back, but Kara, what happens if I do?
You didn't say. Let me look.
Don't look back.
Wait. I'm pretty sure.
来ないで。
Mitsuki!
どうしたんだ、袋井君は。
うるさい。来るなってば。お前もあいつの仲間なんだろ。
錯乱してるみたいだな。何があったんだ、山本さん。
触るな。血が手に血が。お前、やっぱりお前も。
誤解だよ。これはさっき死体を調べた時に。
おかしいって思ったんだ。あんなに平気で死体に触って。やっぱりだ。
You're not right. I mean.
これじゃ何を言っても無駄だな。
私は騙されない。もう引っかからない。
やかましい女だ。生きている人間はうるさくてかなわないな。人は寡黙な方がいい。
Jesus.
山本さん、もう行ってしまったのかい。どこか落ち着ける場所へ行こう。あ、そうだ、またあそこに。そういえば今日はマユにセビリアの理髪師の録画を頼まれていた。時間までに家へ帰らないと。
And here I was again. I pressed the button on my phone to shut off the second alarm I'd set. If this time display was accurate, Then there was no chance of making it home in time to record the show for Mayu.
マユに謝らないとな。
I slid my finger naturally, almost automatically, from shutting off the alarm to opening my folder of saved photos. There was no sound in the room other than the tone of my button presses, and virtually no light other than which shone from the LCD screen, or so it seemed anyway. Yet this was my rock. In this place, I could truly relax. Here, and here alone, I felt at peace. The air was filled with the overwhelming aroma of blood and entrails. It could be enough to make most people vomit, but for me, it was a smell to savor. Ew. Ew. I'd even describe it as comforting. Perhaps it's because it reminded me that I was in her presence. She who decorated the wall like a flower in full bloom.
Oh.
When I sat across from her, I felt more at ease than I could possibly convey in words. Oh! It was as if she'd always been here for me, as if she was waiting for me. And sure enough, whenever I felt weary or needed respite, the door to this infirmary would always open for me, despite its tendency to the contrary. Each time I did so too, I would always be drawn in as if the room were swallowing me up, and my eyes would always happen upon this offering first. This girl upon the wall, slowly drying and slowly rotting, would always be there to greet me, and never once did I tire from the sight.
随分集まったな。死体の写真。
I began talking to myself, or maybe I was talking to her. Within my phone's memory were stored some of man's most sensual, most voluptuous objects of art. And she was the tip of the brush, a grand prelude. I'd amassed a whole other's building worth of beautiful sculptures to admire now, too. I was thrilled
11, 9,
to bursting.
2.
Oh my god.
これだ。
His face!
Okay,
That
I
expression.
think that's Maya's body.
I think that might be Mayu's body.
I think that's her body, and then her head is the one that, like, you know.
Yeah. This was the sculpture known as Mitsuki Yamamoto in life, but in death she was my property, one of my many pieces of found art. Those spirited eyes, now dulled and clammy, those lips that spoke such harsh words, now stained with blood, her abdomen shredded, her innards exposed. So alluring, so captivating was she now. Sometimes destroying that which is beautiful only served to make it more beautiful. And truly, this was the proof.
しかし、
Oh, is it? Oh, it's Mitsuki.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Mitsuki. It was a shame that I could only gaze upon these gorgeous works of art within these school grounds. Before returning home with Mayu, I need to erase every one of these photographs from my phone. It seemed like such a waste. The world in which I once dwelled was far too narrow-minded to accept these masterpieces. It was often a hard place to call home, but as long as I had Mayu with me, I could endure. And to that end, this folder was an obstacle, a detriment. Okay, thank you. A hurdle to be overcome before I could rejoin the world of the living. I needed to delete it, to put it all
で
behind
も
me.
まあ、いいか。
You know, he's just
Mother.
jagging off to this corpse. This guy's fucking weird. I don't like him.
帰ってから。
He's
Yeah.
Should be the end.
Yep.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh, I hated that.
I hated every second of it. Okay, cool beans. Wow, we did a lot tonight.
I hated
How?
I hated that. You don't. I need
Oh,
more this
two
week.
more.
I don't want to. I don't like. 2 more.
Okay.
Good night.